In this week's episode of Tokyo Ghoul, there was a lot of badass action. We got to see the conclusive battle between Touka and Suyama, we got to see both Mato and Amon team up against the 13th Ward's Jason, and even Hinami's mom went through a ghoulish transformation at the end of the episode. But first, a word from our sponsors! My 4X razor has 4 high-quality stainless steel blades, and you can have this bad motherfucker shipped right to your door. Cut ties with traditional razor blades, and sign up for Dollar Shave Club. Remember guys, you can check out a link for that in the description box below if you feel like being a lazy asshole. It's dollarshaveclub.com/SKG. Shave time, shave money, razor pun. The fight scene between Touka and Suyama is pretty exciting, however, it is sort of brought down by the fact that there is some massive censorship at the very end of the scene. Touka clearly wins. She kicks his ass. She tosses him all around this church. She's able to use her Kagane in a number of different ways, but the most effective way is she's able to literally, like, crystallize it and shoot it like shards, almost like bullets, and it even sounds kind of like a machine gun. And she also just cuts right through Suyama, and this is where the censorship takes place. You can see that there's this light coming through the glass of the church, and it's just happening to be perfectly right over Suyama's wound, which I'm guessing the dude just got completely cut down the middle and has just been ripped in half. But honestly, I can't tell. The censorship is so heavy, and I'm not sure what the deal is. This show airs late at night in Japan, and maybe it's just something I'm noticing lately, but it seems like the censorship in anime has gotten a little heavy lately. Aside from that, the fight scene is really exciting, and we get to see what Touka's really all about. The scene has a lot of weight, though, because towards the end, she tries to actually kill Nishiki's girlfriend, Kimi, but she can't bring herself to do it because Kimi mentions that Touka is beautiful, and this sends her into this sort of like weird psychological state where she has to run away and come to terms with the fact that why would a human say this to me? This makes no sense, and this sort of puts her in this weird funk for a long time, and you really don't get to see her do too much this episode. But if you wanted a little more action, you're gonna get it this week, and what I think is really interesting about the fact that the Doves are finally getting ready to fight against Jason is the weapons that the Doves are using, and I'm not sure what they're called exactly. I think they're mentioned by Mato that they're called Kinkei, and they're essentially like these modified ghoul body parts which have been turned into weapons. And what's really cool is the way that they actually pull them out. They're actually in their briefcases and actually like click a button and then the weapon is able to come out. And they both have an interesting one. Mato actually has a sword which looks like one of the Kaganes, but it can actually like separate into 3 different tentacles. And then Amon has this like big like American Gladiators type like weapon, which you can even see like all of the Kagane, which are all wrapped up at the top, and I imagine it can go through some transformations as well. But they get to fight against Jason, otherwise known as Yamori, and he's the guy who was getting Hinami's father to make him this weapon, which is essentially just a pair of pliers, and I'm not sure why he needed him to make him this. There's probably something special about this weapon, and the fact that he's using this in the battle against Mato is really effective, and we get to see his Kagane again for the second time, which in some ways is kind of similar to Touka's, in that it looks really spiky and looks like he can like harden and crystallize it, but he ends up just running away, and then both Mato and Amon actually end up killing Hinami's father, but they're actually going to use him as bait, and apparently it looks like they're going to take his body parts and make them into weapons as well. But like I said, they're using this to draw out both Hinami and her mother, and at the very end of the episode, they capture them in an alley, and she goes insane, and her Kagane looks, in a way, beautiful. It looks completely different than the other ones. It almost looks like a massive blooming flower, or almost like butterfly wings. But she doesn't seem like she's going to be much of a fighter, and I imagine that with all the people here, especially Mato and Amon, they're probably going to end up killing her, and that's just going to be messed up because that would mean that Hinami has lost both of her parents in one single episode, and it's a very intense scene, and there's a lot of build-up to it, and of course there's the heavy symbolism about the cloudburst, which is the scene where Kaneki is trying to teach Hinami how to read, and they're talking about a cloudburst, which is when a sudden storm comes around, and that's exactly what's happening when they get attacked and everything. So that's the end of the episode. It's really intense, and I loved it. So what's the rundown on this week's episode of Tokyo Ghoul? Really great stuff here. Very good production value, especially in the fighting at the beginning of the episode, even though it did have that unnecessary censoring, which I do not care for, especially when it's a series about freaking demons that eat people. I mean, Come on, let's just go crazy with this show. Let's get back to the freaking 80s and 90s when shows were really fucking hardcore. I don't know what's the deal with all the friggin' censorship I've been seeing lately. I've been seeing it in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Like, they'll even censor him smoking a cigarette. What the hell, man? That makes no sense. But really, that's the only negative I have to say this week. Otherwise, everything else was really exciting. I love the concept that the doves actually have these weapons which are made from the body parts of ghouls, because it makes sense, because they don't like have any other weapon that would hurt them. They would need another ghoul to do that. So they essentially remove their Kagane and weaponize it. And there's a lot of cool things they can do with that. And I can't wait to see what Hinami's father's weapon is going to end up turning into, because he had this like weird, like spiky looking spine type weapon, and I can only imagine what they're going to do with that. And I'd like to see the versatility of that as well. Getting to see them fight against Jason so early on in the series is really exciting too. He's a character obviously I love because I'm a huge fan of Friday the 13th. His name is Jason. He wore a Jason mask in the first episode, and I'm guessing that's just because all the ghouls like have their own specific mask. But also, he's from the 13th Ward, Friday the 13th. It's just so freaking perfect. And I think one of you guys told me that in your comments, but it's just now dawning on me. Yeah, this guy is just like a perfect homage to this character. And I almost thought he was just going to kill Hinami's father right there, but no, it was actually those guys who ended up taking them out. Everything else was really good in this episode. All the emotional stuff was really good. The artwork and the animation was very stellar this week, and probably one of the more exciting episodes I've seen. I'm just not a big fan of that censorship. Otherwise, I loved this episode. I thought it was great. Aside from that censorship, this one was definitely worth your time and one of the better episodes of the series, and I cannot wait to see next week's episode. So check it out, guys. I'm giving it a 9 out of 10 this week. Good stuff. Thank you for watching my review today. Before you leave, make sure to hit that like button so you can give this video a thumbs up. Really helps us out a lot. And please tell me what you thought about this week's episode of Tokyo Ghoul. Did you have a favorite fight scene this week? And what do you think is going to happen? Do you think Kaneki is going to intervene and go up against Amon and Mato? Please tell me with your comments below. Remember guys, you can also subscribe to the channel if you have not already so you can see all of our latest anime and manga reviews, and you can check us out on Facebook and on Twitter. There will be links for all of that stuff in the description box below.
Do you like Amazon.com? I know I do. Corey and I now have an Amazon link in our video description box below. And if you go to it and buy anything through Amazon.com, it will support our channel. So bookmark that link, make it happen, and support our channel without having to do a damn thing.
Another great way you guys can help support our channel is by donating directly through our PayPal link in the description box below. We recommend $2 a month, although this is completely optional. But the best way to go about this is by sneaking into your mom's room and taking $2. This way, she won't even notice. And we won't have to shake you up for all of your lunch money. So guys, that concludes this review today. Super Kami Guru 9000. Out.